So this is a somewhat long overdue video that I've really found challenging to make, to be honest, because I could have happily gone down a whole rabbit hole about photography and videography and the technical aspects that I've learned and exposing correctly and shooting in different log formats and when you would use certain shutter speeds versus what frame rate you're using and editing and color grading, all that stuff. And I realized right now isn't the time for a video like that because I know that a vast majority of people that watch these videos don't really care too much about that and they want to be entertained in other ways, and I'm very aware of that. That said, a number of people have asked me about what camera gear do you use, what editing software do you use, where do you get your ideas, how do you think about what to film and how to film it. I really do want to answer some of that, so I am going to try and show you some camera gear, talk briefly about my process and how I think about making videos, but I'm not going to go too in detail. So in order to try and make this video as appealing to as many people as possible, I'm also going to include some questions that you guys sent me a while ago on Instagram and try and answer those sporadically, because I guess that might be interesting. And also I've made a reservation for Disney's Animal Kingdom today, and so I'm hoping I can get over there a bit later and try and film a little bit over there for people that want to see that as well. So if you're not at all interested in camera gear and editing and stuff, I get it. Please don't turn off, because it really does help people watching the video throughout and liking and subscribing and commenting. So if you don't fancy just looking at this and hearing this drone on, I get it. Just mute me, wait a few minutes and come back, and hopefully there'll be something on screen that you enjoy more than this. This is my attempt at making editing, Q&A in a Disney park somehow knit together. If enough people were genuinely interested, leave a comment below and send me a DM on Instagram. Because at some point maybe we could do like a private Zoom live call or something like that, where those people that genuinely are interested in talking about maybe progressing from using their camera on auto into a hybrid auto manual, fully manual scenario. Just general creator chat. If people are already making videos and just want to bounce ideas off people, or if people are wanting to start making videos and actually just want to have still a light-hearted chat, and maybe, yeah, if there's enough people interested, we could just get some beers and a pizza and jump on a Zoom call and talk about that there. That might be an idea for those people that do want this to be a bit more technical, and for those people that don't care at all, you don't have to see it. Everyone that knows me says that I'm extremely irritating and talk far too much, and I'm extremely irritating and I talk far too much. There's a reason for my verbosity, which is important, I suppose. But to challenge myself on this opening batch of questions, I'm going to stick 2 minutes there and just see how I get on. So here's some random questions. Do you need a vaccine pass to enter stadiums, theatres, etc.? Okay, that kind of thing is governed on a state-by-state level, so some states will differ from others. Where I live in Central Florida, certain counties have gone back to requiring masks when indoors. Obviously places like Disney, Universal, etc. have reverted back to masks when on certain attractions, in restaurants, on transportation and things like that, but it varies from state to state. Would you move back to the UK? Probably not, no. I didn't actually move to America from the UK. I moved here from Spain. So it's been about 15 years since I lived in London. I get super excited about going back, but I find that when I get there, after a short period of time, I start to feel antsy and suffocated, and I want to leave again. Too many ghosts and all that. But as much as I love the UK, no, I don't think I'd move back there. Favorite football team and NFL team in the US if you're into it? Yeah, I like football. I don't follow it religiously, but I'm into it. I prefer NCAA over NCAA over professional football. NCAA, I like to follow Oregon because they get all the brand new Nike kit before anyone else, and it looks awesome. And NFL-wise, given the state that I'm in and my great friend Pete, who's an avid supporter, I've taken on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are current Super Bowl champions and apparently have a good chance of retaining it. What do you miss most about the UK? My brother, friends, good TV, like 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, or Would I Lie to You, or all the Christmas reruns like Ab Fab and Vicar of Dibley, Only Fools and Horses, and seasons. Yeah, here it's either hot or ridiculously hot, so I miss seasons. Okay, last one for now. Can you go out to parks? Or yeah, can you let us know what you bet? Sure, yeah, I can do that. The thing is, I have no desire or intention to become known as a theme park vlogger. I make content from there at time to time, and I really enjoy it when I feel the desire to make something there. I have to be in the mood to make it, and I really love doing. So when I'm out making any video, but even at those places, I'm purely focused on the things I'm seeing that give me some sort of emotion or telling a story. So I definitely do overlook the practicalities, like how much this costs or how much that costs. That said, it is a very valid request, and sure I can. And if you keep watching this video and I get to Animal Kingdom, I'll do that. So how did I, oh, I went over. Shut up, Chris. I've been up since like 2 AM and I'm really, really hungry. So I'm gonna go make some breakfast and then come back and continue this charade. I make delicious scrambled eggs. So anyway, very briefly, I'm just gonna go over kind of the process I adhere to once I finish shooting for the day, wherever that may be. The first thing I'll do when I get home, before saying hello to anyone, is I'll grab all my camera batteries and stick them back on charge, and I'll collect all the memory cards from this camera, GoPro, drone, whatever it might be, and I'll move all that media off of those cards straight onto my hard drive. I think it's a good practice to get into because I didn't always do it religiously, and I've had instances of formatting cards in cameras and losing everything I shot the day before, which is very stupid and very frustrating. So I think it's a good idea to get into. And also, if you're filming in 4K and you've got gigs and gigs of data, that process takes a while. So it's good to just get home, charge your batteries, move your media and all that stuff. Okay, so let's just quickly take a look, I suppose. So I have this working drive. Within there, I have this nice video folder, this year, and then I have this actives project folder. Anything in here will have the date and what the project is. And then within that, I have these 8 folders, which are really self-explanatory. Video, music, sound effect, assets, images. Within video, I will separate it out into whatever cameras I used on that particular shoot. So GoPro, drone, Sony a7 III, Sony a7S III, etc. And then within each of the cameras, I will break that out into where I'm going to film or where I have filmed and put the media from those relevant points of the day in there. So the only thing I've got in here at the moment is the breakfast sequence that you just watched. So within here are all the clips that I filmed for that particular sequence. Now, I do have this template folder here. Within that templates folder, it has all of these 8 directories already created, and within video, any cameras that I might potentially use. And it just means that for every project I create, I don't have to keep duplicating folders. It's just there. I can copy it and rename it. You can get the software that you're using to edit to manage your media for you. I just prefer retaining control over where it is. It makes it a lot easier for me to find specific files or find specific media that I'm looking for. So that's the directory structure that I use. Obviously, all the media that I've put in that directory structure needs to go into my editing software. I'm going to demonstrate this in Final Cut Pro 10, but whatever editing software you're using, this concept or process is going to be near identical. You can get your editing software to automate this import process and manage it for you. I just prefer having a bit more control over it so I know exactly where everything is going to be. I definitely put a lot of effort and passion and energy into making these videos. Whether the output is me succeeding in what I intended or not matters a little bit less, but this is how I want to make videos. I am someone that will go somewhere and set my camera up on a tripod and film a 45-minute time lapse of, say, a sunset, knowing that in the edit it's only going to be 8 to 10 seconds long, and I'll take that home. I'll get all the individual photographs that were taken and put them into Lightroom and color correct them, and then I'll put them into LR time lapse. People might say you're crazy making videos that way. Why do you take so long? Well, the answer is simple. It's just how I want to do it. Whether I succeed, whether I'm proud of particular videos or not, or whether I look at them and think, well, that was terrible, I am very passionate about making them. And I think a lot of the time when people say, oh, Chris, you're really good at something, I think what you're actually doing is connecting with what I've done, and maybe people see effort, and that's what they're really seeing, not so much talent. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, I put a lot of time into that. Sorry, tangent. All that said, I'll quickly just import that breakfast footage again so you can see the process. Now that was what, a 50-second, 1-minute sequence. Filming and editing all of that probably took me close to 3 hours for that 1-minute sequence. I'm gonna launch Final Cut Pro 10. And then obviously I've already set this project up. So this is my library. All of these things were stars, or what you call events. And then within those events, you organize the media as you want. So this particular event I know is video. I know it was filmed on an A7S3, and I know it's going to be the breakfast sequence. Now, obviously, I've deleted it just so I can demonstrate this. There's no media here whatsoever. So what I'll do is I'll go back into the directory structure that I showed you, video 2021, active, video, S3, breakfast sequence. Now here are all those files. So I will simply take all of those and just drag them into that event. And what you'll see is pretty quickly, that media is now there, because the way I set this up, I don't move media into the library. I have it manage the media, as I say, in the directories that I put it in. So at this point you think, oh great, you can just go and edit it. And that's not quite true, because nearly everything I film is in 4K. And this is a pretty high spec iMac, but trying to edit in 4K is so CPU intensive that what happens when you're trying to play back something you've edited is it will stutter, it will drop frames, it's juddery, it's not smooth, and the editing process is near impossible, to be honest. So one extra step I'll take at the beginning, which does slow things down at the beginning, but then makes the editing process quicker, so I think it's worthwhile, is I'll create what's called proxy media. To really simplify it, all proxy media is a direct copy of the original media at a far lower quality. So that's a quarter of the resolution or half of the resolution. And what happens is those proxy files have links back to the original files, so I'll edit in proxy. But I can apply any edits I want to that proxy media. It's super fast. So at the end, I flip back to the original media, which will take all of the edits from the proxy files and export the high quality media. Okay, so it's super simple in Final Cut Pro. At the moment, I'm using optimized and original media. All you need to do is hit proxy. It's already created some, but you'll see these that say missing proxy. And that's purely because the software hasn't created it yet. So I can select all of that media, simply say transcode, and I want to create ProRes proxy. 50% frame size, you hit OK. You'll see that Final Cut will now transcode all of these clips and create proxy files for you. When you've got tons and tons and tons of files, this can take quite a long time. But as I say, I feel like the slowdown at the front end makes my editing way quicker. So for me, this is worth it. And so as you can see, as it creates them, these missing proxies will disappear and you'll start seeing this media. And this is just a direct copy of the original at low resolution. So at this point, I'm pretty much ready to start editing. So I've been out all day filming. I've moved all the media onto my directory structure on the hard drive. From there, I've moved it into my editing software, and then I've got the editing software to create these proxy files, and now I'm just good to go. Now I can start editing. I'm gonna briefly go over the gear that I use most often, and this is generally what I'll take with me anytime I go anywhere to shoot something. I'm not gonna go into a great deal of detail. This is more just to highlight the gear that I use. What I will do though is grab a link to all of what I show and stick it in the description below. So if anyone is interested in reading more detailed specification, you can use those links. Now, I don't have an Amazon shop thing, and they're not affiliate links in any way. I'm just going to grab them from, say, Amazon. So if anyone clicks on it and does end up buying something, you're just buying it from Amazon or wherever. So that said, I guess I need to find all my gear. So yeah. Okay, so I found it. The first camera I bought in 2020, like March, April time, so last year, was the Sony RX100 Mark VII. This really is a phenomenal little compact point and shoot camera. The photo quality out of this is incredible for a camera this size. It's 20 megapixels, but it has a 1-inch sensor, shoots really nice 4K video, has this cool flip up LCD on the back, so if you're filming yourself. Big bonus for me was that it has an input to connect an external microphone if you want to improve audio. And it has a 24 to 200 mil zoom, which is crazy good for a camera of this size. It is a little more expensive than some point and shoots on the market. I think brand new, it probably still retails around $1,000. Used, you can get it a bit cheaper than that. As I say, there's other models available that would be cheaper, maybe in Sony range or Canon, that are still very strong cameras, but my experience with this has been fantastic.
Okay, so like the total moron I am, suddenly realized that my main camera is the camera that I'm using to film this video, so I couldn't show it to you, and now I'm on the RX100 showing it to you. So this is my main camera. It is the Sony a7 III. It's an E-mount full frame mirrorless camera, and it's phenomenal. Great hybrid camera for photography and video. I love everything about it. I'm hoping later this year that Sony are going to drop the a7 IV, which I'm very interested in, but we'll see. I have a few lenses, but my go-to sort of everyday lens is this one. It's a Sigma Art 24 to 70 f/70 2.8, and it's a really, really great lens. Most of my photography that you've seen and a lot of the videos have been using this lens. So that's my main camera. And now I will carry on with using it.
One thing I did buy to go with the RX100 is this little U-rig cage, and you can just basically snap your camera into it and then you lock it in place. Now what's really cool about this is it doesn't really increase the size of the camera too much, but it has this really nice wooden grip. You can get a firm hold of the camera. So if you're panning like this or up and down, you can get a far more stable shot in camera than like trying to, do it like this. So this handle's really nice. Also has a cold shoe mount on the top and on the side, so you can attach an external microphone to it. You can attach an external light. It's got a 1/4-20 on the bottom, so it can attach to pretty much all like standard tripods. You can get this for different camera models if you're using the Canon G7X range or Sony ZV-1. For photography, not relevant, but if you're making videos and you want them to be a bit sturdier in camera, this is a really great thing. In terms of an action cam, I use the GoPro Hero 9 Black. It's a GoPro, it does what it says on the tin. You can get some really, really high quality footage out of this. It shoots in 1080, 2.7K, 4K, and in some modes you can get it to shoot in 5K. I'm not sure if you'll pick it up, but at this point my camera is like really bashed up. Works perfectly, but very scarred. And my opinion is if you're using an action cam to be an action cam and eventually it doesn't start looking like this, you're really not using it correctly. That said, if someone's looking to maybe buy a small compact camera like a GoPro to start making vlogs and small videos, this is a phenomenal tool to do that job in good light. These don't perform well in low light whatsoever. And obviously if you're using it for that, probably take a little bit more care of it than I do with this one. If you already own the GoPro Hero 8, the only real reasons to upgrade to this one would be that it has slightly improved stabilization and you have this front-facing screen on it. So if you are filming yourself, it's a bit laggy and the quality's low, but you can at least frame the shot. So that's actually quite nice. But I would probably say if that's not that important to you and you own the 8, don't get this. The 10 is being leaked at the moment, so it'd be interesting to see what that looks like. I am actually currently looking for a new action cam, probably away from GoPro, and it would be a real shame if this just sort of sat on the shelf gathering dust, because like we've done a lot together, and it would be really cool maybe if we could do a giveaway maybe at some point to one of you guys, because I've had so many amazing adventures with this that it would be cool if someone else owned it and had some amazing adventures of their own and kept using it, because yeah, like we've been through a lot. So the drone that I use most often is the DJI Mavic Air 2. The majority of videos you'll have seen drone shots in, they were filmed on this drone. It's super capable, nice to fly, you can get some really high-end footage out of it, great still photography as well. So yeah, DJI Mavic Air 2 is the drone I use most often. I also take out like a selection of these ND filters with me. If you're shooting your stuff in auto, which is absolutely fine, of course, you don't need to consider these, but effectively think of them as like sunglasses for your camera. This is a variable ND filter. You can get fixed filters as well, but basically you see it's clear, and then the more I rotate it, the darker it becomes. And that's just adding more ND. ND is neutral density. So the reason you use one of these, if you're shooting in manual mode, you're gonna have full control of your exposure, which is your ISO, your aperture, and your shutter speed. Now you're gonna fix your shutter speed according to whatever frame rate that you're using, and you won't want that shutter speed to change. So what that means is, if light changes drastically, your image could get completely blown out, or it could become completely underexposed. So by adjusting this, what you're doing is you're either increasing or decreasing the amount of light that will hit the camera sensor to help keep the image properly exposed. If you're shooting in auto, so the camera is controlling your exposure for you. So depending on the lighting conditions, it will constantly be changing the shutter speed, the aperture, and the ISO to best expose the image according to what it thinks. It can only do so much in auto for you. So if you're shooting in the midday Florida sun, it can only go so far with adjusting those 3 parameters, ISO, aperture, shutter speed, to expose it. So there's every chance that your image will still be overexposed and the sky will be completely white, or the opposite is true. If you're somewhere where it's dark, it can only do as much as it can to expose it in low light conditions. But yeah, that's why I use ND filters. So yeah, if enough people are interested and want to do this like private Zoom thing at some point, because you want to talk a bit more technically about it, or you have other questions, we can definitely do that. And we can go into shooting in auto, shooting in part auto, part manual, or shooting fully in manual, and things like how the shutter speed you use will directly correlate to the frame rate you're shooting in, and all those kind of things. And I'd love to have that chat if people want to, but if you don't, that's ND filters kinda. I do use from time to time is this Joby Gorilla Pod, and I use this if I'm trying to like fix my camera to an uneven surface, or I want to mount it somewhere cool like a tree branch or a railing or a stairwell or something like that. You can fully manipulate the legs and wrap them around whatever you need to do. I do not love these at all. They are very cool, and in some situations they can really help, but this is probably the third or fourth one I have had. It's not a question of if it will fail, it's a question of when this will fail, because you're continuously manipulating the legs, you're continuously putting a camera on it and off, you're hanging it in different positions, and eventually what will happen is you'll start using it and you'll just notice very slowly it starts to do this and your camera will fall over and hit the floor. It's happened a lot. The legs effectively become like wet spaghetti and it becomes unusable. If you're not using it that often, it'll last a while, but inevitably at some point you are going to replace it. Another thing that I bought recently, and I take it with me everywhere now because it comes in so handy, is this Lume Cube Panel Mini, and it's basically an ultra lightweight and compact LED light. I have no idea if this is charged. Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's just an LED panel, and then on the back it has this little screen, and it's really useful because the screen tells you how much power is left, it tells you the temperature of the light, and it tells you like the percentage of power you're using. You can change the percentage of power, obviously, and you can change the temperature of the light. It comes with this little filter to soften the light, and it has a 1/4 inch on the bottom, so you can mount this to a camera. So if you're vlogging and the light is going down, you can just flick this on and just light your face. You can use it to light a product. If you're filming food, you can hold it over the food. It's a really useful light. It's a really good price, and if anyone's looking for a light like this, I recommend it. I just take out a few GoPro accessories wherever I go. This suction cup is super handy and it's pretty strong. This is the GoPro one. I use this to mount camera to the inside or the outside of my car. You can attach this arm to it like so, and then you can like further adjust the angle. You just stick your GoPro on here. So that's that. This is one of my favorite mounts, really. It's again by GoPro, and it's a super, super strong jaw that you mount the camera to. And this I've used to put it on railings and tree branches and skateboard decks and all sorts of places. It's really versatile and it gives you the opportunity to get some really cool angles. And again, you know, this arm is interchangeable, so you can put it on there. So yeah, I take all of this pretty much any time I'm gonna go somewhere to shoot. But when you add this to tripods and memory cards and batteries, it really weighs quite a lot. So when you're walking around like in the Florida humidity and sun, it's quite the workout. But I don't mind because it allows me to be more creative. It gives me far more flexibility to do things. So yeah, I'm fine with it, but it can be heavy. Being a Mac user, I do predominantly use Final Cut Pro 10. I'm not an advocate for it. It's infuriating at times, but it's a super powerful piece of software. I also do use Adobe Premiere Pro as well, but I think I'm more efficient in Final Cut. I'm faster at working within it. It is optimized for Mac, so things like exports are always quicker for me than Premiere Pro, and also it does crash a little bit less than Premiere Pro. Final Cut's a $299 one-time payment. You download it, any updates they release are included. There's a ton of cool third-party plugins. With Adobe's Premiere Pro, you have to subscribe to their monthly cloud subscription program. So over time, it becomes very expensive. Also, if you want to get some photography editing software, maybe Lightroom, Photoshop, maybe you're a graphic designer, you use Illustrator, but you also want Premiere Pro. To get all of those things, obviously that package becomes more expensive on a monthly basis. So that is one factor. But at the end of the day, don't get bogged down in it. Whether you're using Premiere Pro, whether you're using Final Cut Pro 10, whether you're using DaVinci Resolve, they're all just non-linear editors, and in one way or another, they're all capable of doing the exact same things. Some will be more intuitive, some will be less, some will be faster. They all have their drawbacks and they all have their pros, so don't get bogged down in it. If you were to ask me, what's the best editing software for you to use? The best editing software is the one you're most comfortable with. If you find something enjoyable to use, if you find it simple and intuitive, go with that. If you just want to make really simple, nice vlogs with a few transitions in it and easy to use and you're a Mac user, iMovie, it comes as part of Mac OS, it's easy to use and it's a really cool tool for doing that and it's easy to learn. I don't know if they still make Movie Maker for Windows, but it's the equivalent. It's a free piece of software and you can make really cool videos with it. Don't get too bogged down in what camera should I use or what software should I use because these people say Mac is terrible and these people will only use it. None of that's relevant. What's relevant is making the content you're excited to make. Tell your stories, share your creativity. And that can get stifled massively if you get hung up on this stuff. So use what you're most comfortable with. It really doesn't matter.
So just taking Luna for a quick walk, and then I'm going to take a break from being indoors and just go down to our local lake where there's a nice nature preserve. Just take a few minutes down there and then carry on indoors, I suppose. Okay. You're so talented. Have you ever produced a film other than on YouTube? Well, first of all, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So everything video-wise too recently has been YouTube. I have started working with people away from YouTube at the moment, and there's some options that are really exciting for me that will allow me to delve further into this industry as well as actually create more content for YouTube. So that's cool. In terms of producing things, I guess my dream would be to produce a music video. I'd love to work with like a local band or musician and produce a music video or a promo reel for them. I would love to make like a legitimate documentary, like a proper travel documentary or about a specific subject that means something to me. That's the direction I want to take what I'm doing, kind of a vlogumentary, if that's a thing. I want it to be primarily focused, as I keep saying, around storytelling and hopefully making people want to come and see the... Oh, it's starting to thunder. Crappy answer to your question, but no. You're not ugly. Statement, not a question. Thank you, Tom. Favorite bar venue for live music? Well, it sucks really because of COVID. There hasn't been a great deal of live music to go to, but in terms of a tourist area, Tin Roof is a really cool bar. One of my favorite bars actually, over at Icon Park. Really good bar food, real hole in the wall vibe, great staff. They always have live music. They have a green room where they have comedy shows. Hard Rock Live at City Walk actually has some good shows up and coming. Downtown, the Belmont and the Social, really great, like small club vibes. Fork Lightning, I should probably move in a minute. They've started to promote shows that are gonna start as of September, so I'm really excited about that. And obviously there's the Amway Center, which is like a super venue where Orlando Magic play, and they have huge artists. UK fan here, we absolutely love your vlogs. They take us away from reality. Keep it up. That's so kind. Thank you so much. It was never my intention to do anything other than get the noise in here out in some way or other, and the fact that people seem to connect to it and get something from it really is like it. On one hand, it makes me a little uneasy because I never expected that, but it really is phenomenal that people like it and get something from it. So not really a question, but just thank you so much. So has your creative genius, whoa, become your full-time job? If not, why not? It bloody should. Thank you very much, Matt. Me and Matt chat a lot on Instagram, and he's a really great guy, so thank you for that. No, it is not my full-time job. It would be cool to make videos and take photos full time. Who knows? How long have you lived in Florida, and how were you able to live in America? Okay, that's a really long, convoluted story, and I've actually answered it all in a video I did a while ago called How I Got Lost in Florida. I'll stick it wherever it appears on the screen. Did you know that Orlando has a semi-pro ice hockey team? Solar Bears play at Amway Center. Sarah, I did not know that, but now I do. Thanks. See you in October. What does Jen do for work? Job. Next bucket list adventure. I don't know, I'm forever daydreaming about doing things. One of the things I really want to do in the next couple of months here in Florida is go down to the Keys, and near Key West there's these Airbnbs that are effectively I get the impression they're like the Polynesian bungalows over at Disney's Polynesian Resort, and they're literally just off the Keys, just on their own. You take a boat out to it, That sounds amazing. And you can do snorkeling there as well. So maybe that's what I'm going to do next. Who knows? I don't know. I'm always fantasizing about doing, that sounds weird. I'm always daydreaming about cool stuff. So yeah, I think that. So yeah, I come here all the time. It's so beautiful and it's so peaceful. And they've built this really cool, like raised boardwalk, and it's fully fenced in. So you're not actually like walking through marshland or foliage or anything like that. But it goes all the way from the nature preserve parking lot down to the lake. And it's probably about a 15-minute walk. But it goes through luscious tropical trees and plants and shrubs. You can see anything from gators to crickets to raccoons, sometimes river otters. There's turtles and tortoises everywhere, just like cicadas. It's so beautiful out here, and it's free and it's real and it's natural. There's no distractions of theme parks or traffic or gift shops or just chaos. It's just, I'm so lucky to be able to come somewhere like this. Now, I was going to film like a whole nice sequence here with music, but I'm fully aware this video is altogether too long right now. So maybe what I'll do is put together a video of all like the beautiful spots in the area that I think people would enjoy coming to that are all free. So yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, so all along this boardwalk, which goes on for a fair while, there's just all these like signs on the way down. It's kind of like a free, natural animal kingdom, I suppose. It tells you about everything you're going to find here, like bullfrogs, and it gives you all the information about them. And then there's boards about all the plant life and vegetation down here. It's just awesome. Really awesome. Anyway, back to the studio. Okay, so we're back in the studio. I changed my t-shirt because being down by the lake and on that boardwalk, I'm sweating and I start to smell, I think. So one of the questions I get asked the most is, how do I decide what to film? Where do I get my ideas for videos? That kind of thing. And the answer to that is really, it depends. At the core of me, I've always tried my best to be as honest and open and genuine as possible. Like, this is me and it doesn't really deviate. Because if I started doing anything for the sake of it, I'd lose interest. And if I did it, the output would be awful. Also, the way I look at specifically making videos, YouTube, Instagram, that kind of stuff is, for me, there's two approaches to it all. There's big bang and there's longevity. Big bang, for example, could be, I live where the magic is, just dedicate a few hours every day, go to a different Disney park, take a ton of pictures and post them, make all my content from there. And big bang is, there's a chance 2 years from now, I might have 30,000 followers on Instagram and I might have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I might not, but there's a chance of that, and that would be big bang. And if that happened, just because I made a video that everyone else was making about hot dogs at Magic Kingdom and it went viral or whatever, I'd lose interest so fast and I'd give up. The longevity approach is, you keep doing what my head and heart tell me I want to do and trying as best I can to put out content that I think people might enjoy. Can I keep doing content and evolving what I'm doing and improving what I'm doing and enjoying what I'm doing? Further down the line, maybe I'll be of a level where I'm respected at what I do and people think I might be able to bring something to the table creatively for their project or whatever it might be. So for me, that's the route I want to take. I want to take the longevity path of actually improving myself and actually learning and actually developing myself, and hopefully along the way, maybe helping other people create things and be excited about it. I don't know. So yeah, for me, it's to my detriment as well, because, and of course, the channel growing and more people seeing it helps me with things like AdSense. Now, with AdSense, on a 25-minute video, YouTube tries to put like 11 ads in it. And if I was watching someone's video with 11 ads in it, I'd turn it off. So I try and remove as many as possible and think, well, for people watching this, maybe I could just put 1 or 2 ads in it. I don't know. I could put 11 in and hopefully I'd make more money, but I don't think that would be good for people because I wouldn't watch it. So if I wouldn't watch it, I wouldn't expect other, I don't know. Am I saying I don't enjoy people that go to Disney, for example, and do other stuff? No, I'm not saying that at all. Am I saying that their content isn't good? No. Am I saying mine is better? Certainly not. I don't think we should look at things as
winning and losing, better or not better. We should be uplifting everyone. And if everyone is getting better, everyone is learning, everyone is improving, then we're all benefiting from that because we're all improving. Like, I feel like collaboration and support is always better than competition. And I don't know, so yeah, like, for me, that's the path I want to go down. And the flip side of that is, of course, I upload less. And uploading less means people might just get bored and unsubscribe. So in terms of ideas, it's quite simple, really. I'll only film something that gives me like fire in my belly, or something I find emotive, or something that affects me. So when I go and do a video from a theme park, there's the obvious things I try and include because they're fun. Eating too much food because I'm a fatty, or drinking nice drinks, or riding some rides. Of course, I want to include that because it's fun and I enjoy it. But I might see a family just in a moment where all life's troubles have washed away and they're just smiling and they're together. And that makes me think, that's so cool. So I might try and capture that. Obviously, I don't just film people randomly. I go and chat to them and say, hey, do you mind? I don't just like creep on people in bushes, that wouldn't be right. But that, I might be walking in Animal Kingdom and I see a butterfly or a bee on a pretty flower, and I look at that and I'm just like, I don't know, I probably sound like a weirdo. I'm in awe of that stuff. So that stuff that my eyes see, I'm gonna focus on Disney because I know a lot of people watch Florida videos because they want to see Disney. If I'm at Disney, they're the things that I take from my day there. They're the things that make me get home and think, oh, what a great day. Like, I saw happy people and I saw bubbles floating into the air and I saw pretty butterflies on flowers, and I stuffed my face with a delicious cupcake and drank too much beer. Of course, there's a place for that and I enjoy that. And I think that's the thing. It's all about storytelling for me. Story is the most important thing. Telling your story, getting across what it is that you want to tell. And with that comes flow and pacing. And I think that pacing is key. Slowing down and being cinematic and being somewhat emotive, and then being raucous and stupid and drinking and laughing, and it's all where to use that and how to use that to tell a story and keep it moving, not stopping, and just keep it moving and try and keep people thinking, oh, this is cool. Like, I don't necessarily know why I like this, I just like it. That's my goal when I set out making a video. So I'm not going to just go to a theme park and film all the things thinking people will want to see this and people will want to see that, because there's thousands of other people doing a really good job of that. So I don't need to do that. People are already doing that way better than I am, and people should watch that for that. But for me, if something I see makes me happy or makes me think, wow, this moment's really nice and it'd be nice if I could show that to other people, that's what I'll show. Now, of course, I'm fully aware that probably more people will not really enjoy that when they're watching a theme park video than will enjoy that. And that's okay. But I'm not going to change it thinking, well, if I change it, more people will like it, because it's just not who I am, really. And yeah, so when you see my videos from parks, let's say, trying to get people to feel what I felt in that moment, I don't know, I sound like a complete arse. And the annoying thing is, I'm talking about flow and pacing and engagement. All this video has been is this annoying English idiot rambling on. And in my mind, I'm like, Anyway, be inspired by others, but try and find your own way. Do the things that, you know, like if everyone's looking at a sunset in the same direction, everyone's going to capture the sunset in the same way. And it might be a beautiful sunset, but why not look slightly to the right or slightly to the left? You might find, that's not as nice, but you might find, wow, that's far more beautiful, or it's far more original. And that's a metaphor for making videos in general. But away from parks, when I did videos from like St. Augustine or my skydive or Siesta Key, places like that, my goal is to, I don't know, just try and show something in my own way. And that's how I always look at making videos. And I don't know if that really answers the question. In all honesty, of the videos I put up, which is like 30 odd, I'm proud of a few of them. That's it. I don't watch them ever. While I'm filming, while I'm editing, it's something I'm passionate about, and I want it to be perfect, and that hinders me a lot, but I want it to be something I'm proud of. But once I upload it, it's not really mine anymore. It belongs to public judgment and the court of trolls and all that stuff. So okay, so the final thing about editing for now is, for me, sound design and music. They're more important than video. At some point in our lives, we've all gone on the internet and watched a movie before it's come out in the cinema, and the picture quality can be meh, but you really want to see it, so we get through it, as long as the audio is okay. But if you downloaded that movie and the picture was crystal clear, but the audio was absolutely horrific, it would be unwatchable, and you would. So the video is very important, but audio is where a lot of the emotion comes from. And I think that my videos are hugely driven by sound and music, because when I'm walking around thinking, how should I film this? It's gonna sound like I'm crazy. I hear how it's going to look. And that immediately gives me an idea for that entire section of how to film it, knowing it's going to sound a specific way. If you're trying to convey an emotion with a sequence, think ahead about how will I edit it, so you plan the shot a little bit better. Don't just aimlessly shoot and then try and stitch it together. If you pre-plan shots, you can actually film it in a way that makes editing and transitioning a lot easier. I use a music service online. It's a subscription service by month. It's royalty free. It's called Epidemic Sound. I'll stick a link below that you can check it out, but they have a library of tens of thousands of songs from all different genres, sound effects, etc. There was a video I made with my friend Kate at Universal a few months ago. There was a sequence I did in that video where I needed Kate to be in certain places for me to make it happen, and the whole shot in my head was planned out. So all the shots I took for that sequence were filmed very specifically. Let's just jump into Final Cut one last time, and I'll give you an example of what I do with sound. So basically, I'm not gonna go into anything technical about how you achieve these effects. I'm just gonna show you initially how they looked when they were filmed. These are individual clips I filmed where in my head I was trying to achieve a final look. So I'm just gonna let it play through how they looked in camera. See how dull it is without sound? There's Kate. Thanks for walking around like an idiot all day. Appreciate it. There's Kate again.
Is this fine just moving it on my side?
These people didn't know me and I didn't know them. I just asked them if they would do this for me. So you get the point. That's all the clips I filmed throughout the day between the two Universal parks, already knowing how I wanted it to look, which is so important. If you can plan some shots ahead of time, it gives you so much more like creative options in post. So yeah, they're the clips, very uninspiring looking, kind of jerky, not all that smooth, etc, etc, etc. And the woman who was asking me if it was okay, yeah, I just literally went up to this woman and her daughter and I was like, hey, I'm making a video, will you do this for me? And thankfully, she didn't call security, she just agreed. So thank you. So what we're looking at now in this project is the exact same set of clips you just watched, but I've edited them now. I've manipulated them how I want them to, so I've speed ramped some of them, I've slowed some of them down, I've added panning and zooming, and I've cropped them, and I've created like motion blur transitions and all stuff we're not gonna go into. But to give an example, if we zoom into this first clip here, and I look at it, what I've done here, you can see that I've slowed this clip down to 20% of the speed it was filmed in. This is where filming in manual mode comes in, because the only reason I can slow this down is because I deliberately changed the frame rate and the shutter speed I was filming in, knowing I can do this in post. If you film everything at 60 frames a second and you edit in 60 frames a second, you can't do this. Because if you slow down 60 frames a second footage on a 60 frames a second timeline, it will go because there's not enough frames. So that's something we can go into on our pizza Zoom call. So I'm just gonna play back this sequence now with the sound effects that I've played around with which all these things in green. Anyway, here we go. This isn't really people in Diagon Alley, it's just ambient crowd noise. I have no idea what that was. You get the impression. Okay, and finally, this particular sequence is showing the exact same clip, just with a music bed that I felt kind of worked with this particular sequence, and a super basic color grade. So yeah, that's how I plan a particular sequence ahead of time. The final product is far from perfect, but that's how I knew I wanted it to look when I was walking around filming that day. And that's why I filmed the specific shots in the specific way. And that's why I probably bored Kate to death. So Kate, if you do watch this, maybe you don't, but if you do, you're a champ. Thank you very much. And that's that. The only thing I'm going to highlight really quickly is this part of that sequence, because a ton of people asked me about it when the video went up. So this part here with the map and the wand and the very kind lady that helped me film it was filmed over by the night bus and the fountain in Universal Studios. And then the reveal, once the map moves, is of the castle in Hogsmeade over in Islands of Adventure. So it's a massive geographical move. The reason this worked is because I knew fundamentally I wanted that to happen. So I filmed both shots purely to get this effect. But it was by far the most tricky and by far the most tedious and by far the most time consuming. So I'm just gonna give you a quick idea of how that actually looked. So I'm just gonna go here and I'm gonna disable that clip and I'm gonna go here and I'm just gonna uncheck this. So I'm gonna just play this back real quick and show you how that shot looked when I filmed it. Obviously, I've played around with the speed and it slowed down, but literally, I just pan down and what you see there is the floor underneath the map. To achieve that effect, I dropped the clip underneath. Let's enable it now. This clip underneath is where I want to appear after that map moves. And as you can see there, I'm on the clip, but what you're seeing up here is just pavement in Universal. So you do something called masking and keyframing. So let me turn this on. So what you basically do here, let me highlight it, is you create, let me zoom out so you can kind of see it a bit better. And let me get rid of this to create a bit of real estate. So this red grid here is basically called a mask, and I apply that to the clip filmed at Universal. And as the map moves away and I pan down, all I'm doing with this is masking out the rest of the original shot to reveal anything underneath. So I place this clip underneath of Hogsmeade because I want that to appear. And if I go to the start of this clip, all that I do is keyframe over and over and over, and you have to do this frame by frame and move it and adjust feathering and stuff, so until it's completely gone. So this is applied, you don't just apply it to the clip, you have to move one frame at a time, move every key point, record its position, then go to the next frame, then go to the next frame, then go to the next frame. And all this does is it masks out what you don't want to see on the clip on top, and it reveals the clip underneath. So with that in place, pan down, the pavement disappears, there's the castle. That's it for editing. Thank you for watching. Hello, anyone there? I'm gonna answer a couple more questions and then I promise I'm going to Animal Kingdom. I just realized I got sunburned being outside for like 35 minutes, crazy. What's your favorite burger joint in Florida? I do love a cheeseburger, I can't lie. There are so many great places to have burgers here, like independent restaurants and trucks, but let's say we go for more like convenient burgers that other people might be able to go to. Culver's is the daddy of burgers here, in my opinion. The burgers are delicious. They're crinkle cut fries, they're fried cheese curds, they do concretes and milkshakes. Culver's is the best. Then Shake Shack is, Shake Shack. Shake Shack is delicious. Shack sauce will just change your life. So Culver's, Shake Shack, Burger Fi is good. Five Guys, yeah. You have to be really hungry to eat Five Guys. Yeah. But the top two for me are Culver's and Shake Shack. What's your favorite beer in Orlando, Chris? I used to like a Magic Hat number 9. I've tried that. It's actually really good. I agree. I'm really into Sierra Nevada at the moment, and they're like hazy IPAs. Nice and hoppy, really crisp but refreshing. They do a beer called Hazy Little Thing, and it's delicious. I'm into that at the moment. I also like a good Hefeweizen. I've kind of gotten into sour beers, which is delicious, but gives you heartburn. There's a brewery in downtown Winter Garden called Crooked Can. Recommend it to everyone. It's brilliant. It does its own beers. I've got a good selection of beers, but inside it's got like an undercover marketplace, and they do fresh donuts. They do barbecue, brisket sandwiches, pulled pork sandwiches. You can buy all sorts of fancy cheeses in there. You can buy sushi in there. It's a really cool, good night out, especially on like a Friday or Saturday. There's tables everywhere. It's really cool. Crooked Can. Are the motorways as scary as they look? No, they're not. If you're comfortable driving in the UK or wherever you're from, a couple hours here and you'll be absolutely fine. It can look a bit daunting, but the roads are a lot bigger than they are in the UK, so more time to correct the mistake, I suppose. What surprised you most about living in Florida, both positive and negative? Good question. So much, really, but one of the things I like the most is what a transient state it is. It's just a melting pot of different people from different cultures. You'll find a ton of people from Greece and Turkey. There's a great, vibrant Asian community, which brings amazing food. A lot of Vietnamese people. There are Polish people, Romanian people, British people. It's a real melting pot. But when you get to meet someone that's from Florida, rare, it's really interesting to talk to them because their perceptions and their experiences usually vastly different from most people you meet who aren't originally from here. So I really do like the sort of the eclectic mix of people. We all know Florida's humid, but how humid it is every day for a long time is difficult. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. I would also say that the people here are generally a lot friendlier than they were en masse in Texas. Don't get me wrong, in Austin there were some amazing people, but here on a day-to-day basis, people are really friendly. We have great neighbors, we grill with our neighbors, you meet people out and about, downtown or wherever, and everyone always says hello. It's just nice. Like, I'm sure there's some not nice people, but my experience here is that the average everyday person is really nice. Negative, there's too many options for fast food that are cheap, that are delicious. So every time you try and be healthy and you're driving down the street, there's a McDonald's and there's a Chick-fil-A and there's a Burger Fi and there's a Chinese restaurant and there's an IHOP and there's a whatever. And yeah, it's hard. I'm sure there are more negative things, but on the whole, the year and so we spent here is well, a lot of it was locked up inside, but but overall, like, yeah, mainly very positive experiences. One song on repeat for a day, which one? Impossible to answer. Music is my number one passion in life, as a lot of people know. What I listen to on a day-to-day basis is governed by my mood, my mindset, what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, where I am at. Am I driving? Am I at home editing? Am I working? Wherever it might be. So it's impossible for me. I would put my Spotify library up against anyone's. I've listened a lot to the Machine Gun Kelly album, Tickets to My Downfall, which I thought was a really solid album. I listened to that quite a lot. Nirvana, Radiohead, Soundgarden, Freddie Mercury, Ella Fitzgerald, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Coltrane, Otis Redding, Run the Jewels, Tyler the Creator, Kendrick Lamar, Pendulum, Deadmau5, Calvin Harris, Calfat. Like, there's so much out there that is amazing. 9 Inch Nails, though. 9 Inch Nails sit above everyone for me. Not very accessible. First album came out in 1989, still going strong. And for all the people that say, it's noise, I don't like it, I guarantee your favorite music's been influenced by Trent Reznor and 9 Inch Nails. So yeah. One more thing, and I forgot about it, and it's one of the most important parts of this video. Millie, who is Just Add Ears on Instagram. I need to give her a huge shout out because that girl is insanely talented. Over the time we've kind of communicated on Instagram, also just a wonderful human being. So Millie is predominantly a Disney creator, a very talented one, who cares about every aspect of what she does, which is why I respect it so much. I saw Millie's very apparent talent and I thought, I want a logo. I sent her a DM and I was like, hey, could you help me with something? And we chatted back and forth and I said, the only thing I want is my name, Chris, as my signature. So that's how I've written Chris forever. So you can forge checks of mine if you want now. And that's all I said. And I was like, there's no rush, there's no pressure, do what you want. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. And within a week, Millie came back with like 6 different designs. Wow. Using the aperture symbol for the O. I would have never thought of that. It's clean, it's simple, but I look at it and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And I knew it would be amazing because of her talent. And I was excited initially to get someone that is doing something vastly different from me, but with so much talent. I was so sure that Millie would do a far better job than me going to someone who is also very talented, but creates stuff like mine. I think personally, she absolutely smashed it. I'm so happy with it. And thank you, Millie. Go follow her. If nothing else, just admire her attention to detail. And if other people have channels and you want someone to create some amazing art, give Millie a shout. It's got animal.
Okay, so we're over in Animal Kingdom now, over in Pandora. It's about 4:30 now, and we have a reservation for Tiffins at 6:15. The park closes at 7, so the dinner will probably overrun the that. We came to Pandora and we got these drinks. This is the margarita from Pongu Pongu. Jen had the night blossom and has already drunk it and is now stealing my margarita. But it tastes really good. It's a pretty decent margarita for a theme park, and it's from that Pongu Pongu stand, kind of by the entrance to Flight Passage. Not too busy? No, Flight Passage is like 50 minutes. Yeah. The Na'vi River Adventure is about 35, I think. But we're actually going to go over to Asia because Jen's favorite ride pretty much at Disney is Everest, right? Yeah. So we're going to go ride Everest. We're not going to do all that much. We're just going to chill out. It's Sunday evening, work tomorrow. So we're just going to chill out and just enjoy the park for a couple of hours and go for dinner. So hopefully we'll show you something. I just built my margarita. Delicious. Everest. Such a cool ride, right? I think it's definitely Jen's favorite. And it's not like an intense roller coaster or anything, it's just so much fun. Animal Kingdom is definitely flip-flops between my first and second favorite Disney park. I think it's the hottest park, right? I find it's the one Disney park that you come to and it feels like there's no air. It's like 95 degrees and very humid, but it's just like sweltering, right? There's just literally no air. So there are two people that live in our house, and one of us drinks coffee iced out of a glass, yet I don't remember the last time we came to a theme park or any Disney establishment and didn't leave with a mug. We must have, what, 20, 30 Disney cups at home? I like this Dumbo one.
I do like that Dumbo one.
So, we're probably gonna get, can we please go and eat? I'm so hungry.
Yes!
Okay, so stop for a little pre-dinner snack. I've got a carton, pretty good size carton of egg fried rice from the Yak and Yeti walk-up window. And I'd say it's a pretty decent value snack. It's $5.99 and you get like a whole container. I won't bother showing it, it's just fried rice. But it's delicious, really, really tasty. I got a nice big Sprite. So let's do a couple more questions. Which theme park is my least favorite and why? Thank you, Tracy. Hollywood Studios. If you're talking Disney parks, Hollywood Studios. If you're talking parks in this area in general, probably Hollywood Studios. Like, I like going there for a couple of hours every so often, but it's just not my favorite park. I used to love it when it was MGM and had the backlot tour and all that stuff. I just don't love it. I think that there's some incredible things there. Galaxy's Edge looks amazing. I just don't like find any connection to the park really. Like, it's fun to go with friends, but it's my least favorite. Is it a scone or a scone? I don't know. I don't like them either way. Best coffee shop in the area, please don't say Joffrey's. It's definitely not Joffrey's. I would say my three favorite coffee shops are Create Coffee, downtown Orlando, Craft and Common, which is also downtown Orlando, and Foxtail Coffee. I go to the one in Claremont because it's nearest to my house. So Foxtail Coffee, Craft and Common, Create Coffee, and Studio. Create is awesome. Quay, the guy that owns it, is a great photographer, a really good guy, and it doubles as a photography like creator studio as well as a really, really good coffee shop. Favorite breakfast spot in Orlando, PS, love the vlogs. Thank you. Downtown Winter Garden, Rosalie's French Cafe is one of my favorite places. It's awesome because great coffees, iced and hot. It's got amazing pastries. It's got great open face sandwiches, croque monsieurs, croissants, delicious. The fresh fruit salads and stuff, really, really delicious. Other than that, First Watch is really, really good. And Kiki's, a lot of people rave about Kiki's. I think it's okay. Why did you say no personal questions? Well, I think the answer's in the question. It's personal. Last one, do you dye your hair? No. Okay, I'm sure I probably bored everyone to death with these answers. I'm a really quite boring person. So I'm gonna eat this and then go eat dinner.
Okay, so we're in Tiffins now, and it's probably going to be quite difficult to film and talk while we're in here because it's very quiet, it's very ambient, and there's some people quite close by enjoying their dinner, so I don't want to just be that guy with the camera. So we will try and film the food that we eat, and we can talk about the food afterwards. If during this video you've noticed that every so often I do this, and I don't appear to be looking at the camera, it's because I'm actually test running a new camera at the moment, which is making Jim very nervous because it's kind of getting to the point where it's like a puppy. Can we keep it? Can we keep it? But it's a different camera setup, so the LCD is over here, and I'm still not used to it. So if I've been doing that for a lot of the video, that's why we'll film as much as we can in here, but I'm kind of conscious of everyone else. But it's lovely in here. I'll quickly pan around. It's a really nice restaurant. We've never been in here before. What do you think?
So cute. There's like a whole wall of animals.
Yeah, and I think this up here is really cool. It's like a mural, and I think it's supposed to be like a top-down view, like almost like a helicopter or a drone shot of a village. I think these all look like sort of houses. I might be completely wrong, but it looks cool. And you've got like masks around, and then I'm just quickly trying not to catch people eating, but I've ordered a lamb shank. Jen has ordered braised short rib, and we have a bread service as an appetizer. So I'm still talking, and I said I wouldn't. See you in a bit.
Okay, so Tiffins, excuse me, Tiffins, never been there before, and we both really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed my dinner. It was really, really good. The atmosphere inside is really nice, got really nice ambience about it. It's very quiet in there and like calm, and that's why I didn't film in there, because there was a lot of like couples and families, and it's quiet and people are enjoying the dinner, and I didn't want to be like, now I'm eating this and now I'm eating that. But we did write down what we ate. To start with, it's on my phone, I don't remember any of it. We started off with a, excuse me, signature bread service, which was like 3 types of bread. It was like poppadom, Indian paratha, and another type of bread, which I forget. It came with spicy pepper hummus, coriander yogurt, and a mango chair putney. Putney? What the fuck's a putney? A hummus, spicy coriander yogurt, and a ginger pear chutney. It was delicious, and it was definitely enough for 2 people to share as an appetizer. I think that was $12, so actually not too bad. For the mains, Jen had the braised short rib. It was absolutely delicious. It was like melting your mouth, and it came with a small amount of like parsnip mash, and then there was like cauliflowers and some other vegetables. It was really, really good. I think the one criticism Jen had of that is it was quite small. That was like quite a small portion, and it was $48, so it wasn't cheap. It's not a cheap restaurant, but the food, as I say, the food's good. I think it's worth it. And I had one of the specials, which was the lamb shank, and that came with couscous, vegetables, and it was served in like a tagine. So it was like a lamb tagine, really. And that was $44, and it was full of flavor. All the food was just really full of flavor. Just really good. I mean, I keep saying really good. It's not particularly eloquent food review, I know. One thing I would say is everyone goes on about the bread service over at Sana, and whilst that's very good, I personally think this is better. At Sana, you get more dips to try. You only get 3 here, but I just thought overall the bread was better. The 3 dips that you get here, I think, were better. And overall, Sana has an incredible like outlook onto the Animal Kingdom Lodge Savannah and the animals. But I prefer this restaurant. I would personally go to Tiffins over Sana myself. I'm not an influencer. I don't want to be an influencer. I don't even like that term. So if you do go there off the back of watching this video and you don't like it, I'm sorry, but there's a banging McDonald's like not far from here. Then for dessert, we had one of their Lion King specials, which is like a brownie base with a caramel, one sec. It's a brownie base with a caramel mousse with chocolate chantilly whipped cream, crushed spiced pistachios, fresh strawberries and blueberries, and it was incredible. It was small, but it was incredible. We could have definitely eaten another one, but we felt ashamed, so we didn't. That was $15. So that was the prices. I think all in with our annual pass discount, we paid $118. So it's an expensive dinner on a Sunday night, but I would recommend people go there if they've never been and you want to try like a nicer meal at a theme park. So if anyone's watched the Savannah videos that I recently did, there's a scene with a cargo ship and Jen frantically doing this, trying to get it to honk, and now we're in Animal Kingdom. She's doing the same thing. Apparently here in Pandora, if you wave your arms, these things spit water at you.
Admit it, who out there is one of those people that never remembers where they park? Never remembers where they park. Are you one of those people that never remembers where they park and just walks through the parking lot hitting your panic button? It's really annoying. It always does make me smile though when I just see people leaving like theme parks or wherever, just walking around like not even looking for their car anymore. They're just like aimlessly like pressing buttons and hoping. Anyway. So anyway, I'm back at the car because my battery died while I was trying to end this inside. I know that this has been a little bit of a hodgepodge of a video. I wanted to do a video about how I think about videos, how I edit them. I love to learn, I'm a nerd, and I'm here in my abilities, and where I need to be is a long way off yet. I know I probably didn't do Animal Kingdom justice, unfortunately, but we were only here for a couple of hours, so I just tried to get like a feel of the place. Yeah. So, thanks for watching, and the one thing I would say, whether you are already creating things, taking photos, making vlogs, making videos, or you want to get into it, whether you're using a $5,000 camera setup, or an iPhone, or a GoPro, or an Android phone, or a point-and-shoot Canon camera, whatever it is, ultimately it actually doesn't matter. Because what matters is what you want to create, what you want to make, and holy crap, what matters is like what's in here and what's in here and what you want to say, what's the story you want to tell, what are the things you want to show, what is the thing you are passionate about that you want other people to maybe connect with. And that has nothing to do with what camera you're using, it has nothing to do with what editing software you're using, it has nothing to do with transitions and speed ramps and color grading. All of that stuff can come if you want it to, but ultimately it doesn't matter. The most important camera you can possibly have is the one in your pocket, whatever that may be. And I think that what's important is start out making the things that make you happy, that you're passionate about, and that you want other people to see. And eventually, people that share your interests and your passions will connect with it. Not everyone's going to love it, but some people will. And the most important thing is that you do. So if you're going to create something, don't worry about what's trending and how many numbers and what revenue will this generate. Because if you're just doing it for some fun and you want to just make some videos. That's all that matters. And if you want to make it bigger and try and earn money, then that's great. But don't make that the goal. Make the goal making something. And above all else, story wins always. So yeah.